Up, fellow dropshippers. In today's live stream, we are going to be talking about price gouging on eBay and Amazon, just price gouging in general, and what it is, first of all, and also, is it even a bad thing? The general consensus out there is that it's a bad thing, but let's really dive into that. Let's really look at, is price gouging bad, or are there some benefits to price gouging? So if you guys are joining me live here on YouTube, then let me know in the chat, or if you're joining me on Instagram, I'm streaming there as well, let me know in the chat what your thoughts are. Is price gouging good or is it bad? Lots of differing opinions about this, and we'll be diving into all of that right now in this video. I just want to let you guys know real quick, this is live, so the first 8 or 9 minutes we're going to be talking about price gouging. The rest of the time will be a live Q&A, so that's why the video might be longer. And I also want to remind you guys that it's not too late to sign up for the Work From Home Summit on April 23rd and 24th. It's free, and that's the first link in the description of this video. You can learn about 10 different ways to make money online from different experts. Okay, so let's get into price gouging. And the reason I want to talk about this is because this is an issue that has come up a lot recently with the current situation of the world. Lots of people buying. Basically what price gouging is when you go to a store, or someone goes to a store, and in this case people went to stores, bought all the hand sanitizers the store had, went around to other stores, bought all the hand sanitizer up, and then sold them either online or in person to people for well above market price. And that is considered price gouging in certain circumstances. Price gouging meaning that it's unconscionable what they're doing, that they are taking advantage of people's fear by selling them these items that those people feel like they need, and those people are paying a lot of money for right now because they don't have access to them, and so they are willing to spend a lot of money on it. That's what price gouging is, and it's illegal in most states, which we're going to get to in a second. Now, the reason why this impacts us as sellers online is, one, eBay has, in order to combat this, said a lot of those items that people are price gouging, face masks, hand sanitizers, things like that, or sanitizing wipes, you're not allowed to sell them on eBay at all. Amazon allows you to do it, but if they find that you're price gouging, they may remove the listings and, in some cases, even suspend accounts. And that's what's happened to date. According to CNN, Amazon has suspended 6,000 seller accounts globally for coronavirus price gouging. And we're going to get into a minute why that might be an issue and why that's not always accurate and why this is kind of screwing over some sellers. There's actually a letter based on a letter that Bezos sent out to the company, that they removed 500,000 listings from Amazon's website for price gouging. Okay, so let's look at like some more extreme examples. There's this guy in Tennessee who, I think it was actually two brothers. They had 18,000 bottles of hand sanitizer, and these guys kind of became like the poster child for price gouging. They were sitting on 18,000 bottles. They couldn't sell them on eBay, obviously. Amazon shut down their listings, so that they didn't have anything to do with. They couldn't do anything with them. Some articles came out about this, and they were basically trying to spin this. The brothers, or this guy, that I have all these hand sanitizers and I want to sell them, but I can't. Instead, he got so much hate for this. He was got like death threats apparently about it. So he ended up donating them as a public service, which people really were able to see right through that and just saw that he had all his hand sanitizers, couldn't do anything with them, and he was getting hated on for it. So he just donated them. Yeah, and there's another guy who in Brooklyn, they actually had who was it? He had a bunch of masks, and he had some officials, U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI agents, came to his house and confiscated all the masks and actually arrested him because, like I said, it is illegal to do price gouging. And apparently he started coughing on the agents and said he had coronavirus. Seems kind of petty to me. But his plan was to resell them at higher prices. But they took them away from him. And now they're going to donate those masks. Okay. Now, there are laws in every single state. All the states are different. You can, if you just search for price gouging laws in certain states, you'll be able to find the specific language. But generally, what the rule is that when there's a state of emergency, then you're not allowed to sell items at a price that, let's look at Alabama, charging unconscionable prices for commodities or rental facilities during a declared state of emergency. Like, what the heck does that even mean? You know, when I was in law school and when I was a practicing attorney, there is this concept that we studied about how a law can't be too vague. If a law is too vague, it can be struck down as unconstitutional because it doesn't give us due process. It doesn't allow us to understand what qualifies as breaking the law and what isn't breaking the law. And something like charging unconscionable prices, that is so vague. What does that mean, right? There should be really more set guidelines. So for instance, Arkansas, maybe theirs is better. It says selling commodities, household essentials, fuel, etc. after a declared state of emergency for more than 10% over the cost of these items immediately preceding the declaration. That one makes more sense, right? That's more concrete, more easy to understand. Now, just because it makes more sense and it might be more constitutional doesn't mean it's right. And there are problems with price gouging laws. That absolutely. And the more I've been reading about this, the more I'm kind of starting to see the other side of this. When I first started, I thought, you know, price gouging is totally wrong, and it's just black and white. And it's not. There's really a lot of nuances here that we have to consider. So think about this. This article I read, I really like. I forgot to share my screen again. But yeah, this article I read, I really like. It says price gouging is not inherently coercive, and it is not exploitative at all. And if it is exploitative at all, it is so in a way which makes it difficult to see why it is wrong. And that makes sense. I mean, if you're selling something for a higher price, let's say it's hand sanitizers for double the price or triple the price, there's nothing inherently coercive about that. You're not saying people, you have to give me money or I'm going to hurt you. Or it's not like that's something that they necessarily need, right? It's not inherently coercive. So I totally understand that point. And to that point, it just keeps up with the law of supply and demand, right? As demand goes up, as supply goes down, the demand goes up. That is just economics, just the way that it works. And these laws interrupt that natural cycle of supply and demand. And when you interrupt that, there are problems with it. So these articles I read pointed out some of those problems. The biggest one is that supply and demand, especially during a situation like this, it will put resources where they're most needed. So this says the higher the price of hand sanitizer rises, the more incentive entrepreneurs have to divert shipments from where they're needed less to where they are needed more. So for instance, there's a guy in after Hurricane Katrina, and he didn't live in an affected area, but he lived about 600 miles from, I think, Louisiana. So he bought about 19 or 20 generators, and he rented a U-Haul truck, loaded it up, and his plan was to bring it to New Orleans or Louisiana and sell them for double the price. Okay, he was taking generators from where they existed to somewhere where they didn't exist. And if he knew right when he started that he would get in trouble for that, he never would have done it. And then all his people wouldn't have had access to those generators. So what happened was he drove over the state lines. He planned on selling them. Instead, he got arrested. Those generators were confiscated, and no one got them. Now, look at the problem right there. There were people in Louisiana, in these impacted regions, that needed generators. And he was willing to pay to buy them, which was a risk for him. He was willing to rent a U-Haul truck, pay for the gas to get it over there. So maybe at that point, selling them at double the price wasn't that really unconscionable, as some of the states say. When really you look at the full cost of getting the items over there, doubling it really makes sense. And so in that case, what happens is those are taken away, and now people who need them won't get them. So it's very easy to look on paper and say that these laws make sense. But when you think about it, You might go into a region like let's say we're talking about that example. It's a little bit easier to understand with that example than the current one because hand sanitizers are needed everywhere right now. Everyone's looking for them. So it's not really a matter of redistributing them. But in that case, it's a little bit easier to understand. So let's say you're talking to someone in Louisiana right after Katrina, and they're saying, like, yes, I'm willing to pay $1,000 for a generator. And but then someone says to them, well, you're not allowed to because generators are $500. They're not allowed to be more than 10% over $500. So you can go buy them from that store over there that sells them for $500. Yeah, but that store is out of stock, right? They can't, the price gouging laws don't matter if the items at the correct price aren't in stock, right? And so like that guy who brought them from Louisiana, he was making items available to people in these impacted regions that otherwise would not have been available to them. And he took a risk when doing that. He spent money doing that. So for him to sell them at just 10% over or at cost, he'd be losing money. So it really makes sense to, I mean, and even if he said like, okay, maybe it makes like 10% profit after all the different expenses, that might not be enough for him to make that drive, right? But when we see the supply go down, the demand go way up, that's an opportunity for entrepreneurs, and that's what made him willing to drive the 600 miles, rent the U-Haul truck, take the risk buying all 20 or 19 of those generators, and attempt to sell them in Louisiana. Otherwise, that incentive would not have been there for him. So I completely agree with that. I think in a lot of cases, it allows entrepreneurs and different people to bring the resources where they are needed most. The other thing that this article points out is that the higher the price of surgical masks, the more incentive manufacturers have to work around the clock to make more and to feed them into the supply lines. And with that point, I think I disagree with that one. So they're basically saying that, you know, if we can sell masks for $20 each instead of like a couple of bucks each, or $30 or $50 each, then manufacturers would have a lot of incentives to make more of them. And I think right now, the companies that make Lysol, disinfecting wipes, that they make hand sanitizer, I think the demand is enough incentive. So I don't agree with that point. I think they know that anything they make right now is going to be bought up. So I think they are already working around the clock. We see companies that my dad has a friend who owns a sunscreen company, and their company just started making hand sanitizers because they know that people are going to buy them up. She's not selling them for a huge price. It's not price gouging. She's selling them at a normal price, but she knows people are going to buy all of them because the demand is there. So on that point, I would have to disagree. The other huge problem with price gouging laws and these price gouging rules is that they're unrealistic for the reasons I mentioned before, where the guy bought all the generators, but he also had to rent the U-Haul. He had to pay for gas, maybe pay for tolls. All that costs him money to get the items where they needed to be, right? And this guy who bought up all these hand sanitizers, he made a really good point as well. He was saying that, I might have bought the bottles for $1 or $2 each, but these are bottles that can break easily. I'm selling them one by one and not in packs. So I have to ship all of them individually. I have to wrap them to make sure they don't get damaged in transit, and people want faster shipping to get them as fast as possible. And all that costs money. So yeah, I might be selling one bottle for $25, but really I'm not making $20 profit on that because those take so much money in order to get them to the customers. Now, he did admit that he sold some bottles for over $100. And I think at that point, it does become price gouging, right? I think there is a line here. The real question is, where is that line exactly? But it does cost money for us entrepreneurs to get those products and to get them to customers. And I think that needs to be considered as well. Amazon recently said, well, they said this, when was this, like yesterday? This was April 10th, so actually 6 days ago. They said that if you feel that you are offering a fair price for a product that has been suppressed by price gouging prevention systems, try to reactivate it. That's what they said to do. So they do realize that it's not a perfect system, which is great that they realize that. And they want you to try again to reactivate that listing. And I'm not really sure what they think will happen after that, but that's what they said. So cool. Let's jump into the comments and see what you guys have to say about price gouging. Check out the local laws in your state as well. Okay, Lazy Abrams here. What's up, man? First comment. Congratulations. Hussam, what is up, man? Is that you sent me a DM on Instagram? Dustin, how's it going? Alexander, thanks for being here as well. 4 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. Ooh, not feeling that. But if you guys are loving the video so far, make sure to hit that like button down below. Hola, says Johnny. Hey, y'all. Thanks, Rich, for coming back and being here again. Have you noticed longer shipping wait times? Yeah, definitely. Home Depot is better. Walmart's definitely been a little slow. Okay. We were accused of price gouging of trash can. Many buyers are making false claims. Yeah, absurd. A trash can, right? Just because it's above the price on another website doesn't mean you're price gouging. It's ridiculous. And for a trash can. Yeah. I mean, and just kind of go back to my example before. I mean, if someone's in a region, I'll use that example in Louisiana again, and they really need a generator, people, they say like, I'm willing to pay $1,000 for that $500 generator because otherwise I would not be able to buy a generator. So it's a really good point that they make. 10% above retail, kind of unrealistic for a reseller. So it doesn't say above retail. It says 10% over the cost of these items immediately preceding the declaration. Again, that's still vague to me because according to whose prices? You know, if we are resellers, then we always have to be well over 10% in order to make a profit. Yeah, and sales happen. What if immediately before an emergency there was a sale going on? Does that mean you can't raise your prices back up to normal levels? It's very vague. Let the market economy dictate the price, says Rich. Okay, so this is another argument I've heard about why price gouging is important. If there is no price gouging, there is a possibility of hoarding and less distribution across the board. So I'm not sure what I just said, but this is a reason why I've heard that price gouging is a good thing. So you go to like a supermarket and you're looking for toilet paper, and let's say the store leaves the prices as they are. Well, people are going to buy them all up, and then there's going to be none left for the next person. And price gouging, if the store price gouges, they raise the price of toilet paper, which means that the person is likely to buy less, and there's more available for the next person. Now, a few thoughts on that. First of all, I think no matter what price they are, people are going to buy up a bunch of them. So if they're a low price, people will buy them all up and then sell them themselves or just hoard them. And I think if there is price gouging that's going on, then people are going to panic even more and buy even more of them because they think the prices are going to go up even more. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. Got here late, but you're here, Bobby. Thanks for being here. I feel like I had another thought about this that my brain's not focused on. There's a possibility of hoarding, less distribution, of course. If there's no price gouging, I don't know what it was. So you have a good opinion on this. Price gouging means prices are unreasonable, in which case they would not sell. But since they do sell, they are reasonable and therefore not price gouging. Yeah, it's an interesting point. Unless you kind of think of it as it's unreasonable, but people are panicking and out of fear they're buying the items, and because they're buying out of fear, that's what makes it price gouging. I don't know. Okay. I think we all agree on this, but how do we convince eBay and Amazon of this? I'm not sure if we do all agree, and I'm not sure if there is a good way to convince them, because they have to do what's right for buyers. They have to do what's right to make themselves look good in the public's eye, but they also have to do well by us sellers as well. Do you have a creative solution for getting around merchandising fees for California, mattresses, for example? Yeah. Do not ship to California. That's one solution. Dustin, I'm not sure if you're a member of my course, but I do cover a solution in the course as well. So you should check that out. I'm the first to like. Thanks, man. Thumbs up and buy Paul's course. Bobby, I'm going to hire you to be my marketing director. So in the secondary market, like collectibles, people price gouge all the time. Buy from Walmart for $1, sell for $15. Now that's not price gouging, because that's just simple supply and demand. Buy from one place where there's high supply and no demand, and sell on a place where there is demand during normal circumstances. Price gouging by definition happens when there is a state of emergency in most states, and where those items are tied somehow to necessities that people would buy during an emergency, for instance. So that's not supply and demand. But your point, you bring up a valid point about distribution of items into places where they're needed or wanted, right? You see this all the time for resellers or flippers, or even us drop shippers. There are items on eBay, or there's a lack of items on eBay, and we as drop shippers make items from websites like Walmart and Home Depot available on eBay. So we're reallocating those resources to where they're needed and wanted. So a flipper is price gougers? No. Okay, so Amazon, Noah's always here. He's always very analytical. Amazon always monitors other marketplaces like Walmart for prices to similar items. If they see that prices on their platform are higher than others, they will suspend to prevent buyers price shopping. Interesting. Yeah, Amazon's always trying to be the cheapest. So that makes sense to me. Hey, what is up, man? I remember you. How you doing? It's good to hear from you. I hope your stores are doing well. All right, so I had some awesome things I want to share with you guys. This is one of my students. I've shared his screenshots a few times, and he's absolutely crushing it right now. So a lot of people are saying, like, is now a good time to start drop shipping or selling online? I mean, look at his numbers right here. He's crushing it. Here's a student who just showed he's doing $15,000 a month in sales. Let me get back to that one. Oh, and this guy, man, okay. You guys, if you've ever had an excuse for why you couldn't start drop shipping, check this out. This is from Hussam, who's often here in the on YouTube. So if you're here, man, give a shout out. I want to let you know that we're putting you up on the screen here, because you sent me a DM. It says, "Hey Paul, I watch your YouTube live streams. Just wanted to tell you thank you. Your videos help so much. Being only 12, the money I generate helps so much. Made $3,400 in the month of March thanks to you. Keep doing what you're doing." So thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Obviously, you are the one who put in the work and actually executed. But my question was, you said being only 12. I was like, wait, what? Like, you're only 12 years old? You said, yeah. So, I mean, like, wow. If you can do that at 12 years old, you can do that at any age. So, man, congratulations on that. I love that comment, that message. So if you guys feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at Paul J. Lipsky at any time. Share your story. Like, I love connecting with all you guys, and I love messages like that. Also wanted to let you guys know, I don't think I actually mentioned this on the channel, but if you use PayPal, which you do if you're selling on eBay, then PayPal, they normally charge you a fee if you want to instantly transfer funds out of eBay. So there is a standard transfer, which takes like 2 to 3 business days, and there's an instant transfer. Standard transfer is free. Instant does cost some money. PayPal are temporarily waiving those fees because they want small businesses to have some sort of relief, to be able to keep up with their cash flow. So props to PayPal for doing that. It kind of makes other companies look bad because they're not taking similar measures to make cash flow more easily available to us. So option for you if you want. Okay. Whoa, Mo, congratulations. Made 20 sales in a day with 200 profit. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. Dropshipping for beginners. Your info is amazing. Thanks, man. If I can't answer my followers' questions, I refer them to you. LOL. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It was crazy yesterday. $15,000 in sales. Yeah, people are seeing numbers like that. It's crazy what's happening. What should I do if Walmart keeps canceling my orders? Okay, Jonathan, you need to evaluate what orders they are canceling, because Walmart will cancel orders sometimes for different reasons. So we'll see that they'll cancel some high risk items. So electronics are pretty common for them to cancel after you buy a few of them. So keep that in mind. You might just want to delist those items. If they're running out of stock, that's another issue. So you really have to find out why they are canceling the orders. It could also be a reason of your payment method. If you're paying with a credit card, and you're doing a lot of transactions, they might be worried that it's fraud. They do that to new accounts. After a time, they stop canceling your orders. So for now, I would mix it up. Pay for some of it with gift cards, some of it with credit cards, some of it with debit cards. Mix it up, and eventually they'll stop doing that. Those are some of the reasons they'll cancel your orders. You really got to find out why it is in that specific reason. Amazing kid. Good job. Yeah, that kid is killing it. Okay. I believe they're also waiving refund fees as well. I did not hear about that. I'm going to have to go into my PayPal account and check that out. PayPal. Amazing, Abram. If you're right, that'd be amazing news. PayPal relaxes fees, response rules for merchants. Let's see what this article says. Come on. PayPal relaxes fees, response rules for merchants. PayPal is relaxing some of its payment fees. Ugh, all these pop-ups. Allowing customers to defer repayments on business loans. Oh, that's a little bit different. I'll look into that. I will look into that. They are waiving fees for any refunds, which is nice. I didn't even notice. I'm going to have to go into my PayPal account and check that out. Wow, $15,000, yeah. Hey, Paul, I sent you a DM on Instagram paying. You see it? I'll check. I always check every day, at least once. Cool. All right, guys. So that's all I have today about eBay and Amazon news and price gouging. I'll definitely look into that fee refunds. I don't know why I didn't hear about that. But I'll check into it in my own account so I can verify it. But thanks for bringing that to my attention. Really appreciate it. Lazy Abram and also Dustin. Appreciate you guys, really do. And everyone who left comments and chatted with me in the live chat, thank you so much. Remember, guys, the summit. You can go to summit.dropshippingtitans.com, or it's the first link underneath this video. That's your chance to learn from at least 10 different experts all about how to sell online, different business models. This is not a dropshipping conference, although there will be a lot of dropshipping content, but not just the way that I do it, different ways to do it. So we're starting out right away with some affiliate marketing with Johnny FD. This guy's amazing. Seth Kniep talking about Amazon FBA, print on demand, Kindle Direct Publishing, Amazon dropshipping, private label, Amazon dropshipping retail with yours truly. And the next day, again, I'm talking, but this time about eBay dropshipping. We have a whole eBay dropshipping panel that morning. The best, if you want to learn product research, this is a guy to learn from, Nahar. He wrote the software for it. And if you want to learn how to scale multiple stores, this is a guy you want to learn from, Lior. Flipping items from eBay to Amazon, this is your guy, Carter Maxwell. Shopify dropshipping, Brian from Tech Money Talks. I was just on his YouTube channel today. You guys check it out. Search on YouTube for Tech Money Talks and look at the interview I did with him today. It was really an awesome interview we did. We talked about the summit and a lot of amazing things and how this summit, even if you know what you're doing, even if you're positive that, you know what, I'm only going to stick with eBay dropshipping, you should check out this summit and all these different ideas, because a lot of my best ideas for how to like evolve my eBay and Amazon business has come from outside the world of eBay and Amazon dropshipping. I'm talking with people, seeing what's working in their business models and saying, you know what, I could use that with what I'm doing. And we bring those in and it works. So all these different ideas, that's why it's really great to bring these different experts and resources together. And then we have the man, Steve Rakin from Rakin Profit, closing things out, talking about how to grow a YouTube channel. Guys, everyone should be starting a YouTube channel, and Steve is a huge advocate of that, and we'll explain exactly how he does it and how you can do it as well. I mean, he's taught so many successful YouTubers. He taught me how to do it, and he's very generous with his time and his knowledge, and he'll just